I like this kind of education because they'll learn through plays so that they're not learning like the actual academics aren't that hard. Instead of sitting down to do and doing things, they get to play and learn at the same time.
I make two.
We're really supportive of providing opportunities for children to learn through play. It's something that children do naturally.
I don't think there's another way for children to learn. So it's the way that they make meaning of their world. It's not an extra, it is how they learn.
I think it's really important for us to realize that all children deserve a very play-based, rich environment in which to learn and grow and develop.
The play is really important in a student's education because that's where they're going to learn all their life skills. They're learning how to problem solve. They're learning how to ask questions to find answers about their world. They're learning about their environment. They're learning how to get along with people. So when they do, eventually go into higher grades, they can work out problems on the playground. They can do things in their classrooms and work together with kids. And I think that's where we want to see kids develop.
Historically, plays had this sort of up and down kind of history, okay, of either being seen as incredibly valuable or just childhood goofing off, irrelevant. And it's only really in the last decade or so that we've got to understand enough about how brains function, how development occurs, the kinds of experiences that are important for shaping development, and integrated into that, how play contributes to brain development and brain function.
All learning through play is providing is that natural way for kids to learn. That's how they've been learning up until this point. So it's working. We need to embrace that, and we need to be excited about it, and we need to let the children continue to learn because they can learn so much.
Emergent curriculum is a relatively new term that just involves teachers taking a look at children's individual needs and following their lead and interest and providing them then with materials and information and experiences that are going to enrich their learning, following along with what they are interested in.
For example, the other day we had a little boy going on a trip, and he was so excited because he was going to a boathouse somewhere where he was going to go on a lake and go on a ferry. And so the kids were all, oh, what's a ferry? And so, we got the smart board out because that was just new to us. And so it gave us a chance to look up what ferries were, and all of a sudden, then the kids were engaged in boating, and all these vehicles came out. And then they were building bridges because, some places had bridges, and ferries had to go by the bridge or on a place that didn't have any. And so, when you listen to kids and how they're interested in things, and then that's where the teacher comes in as a facilitator, because we can just plan all these things around them, but let them discover it.
So how many oranges did you put in there today, Cadence? You put in 2 oranges. One of the things that we do here at St. Pat's School is we do juicing.
Oh, look at all that.
Last fall, I brought in my personal juicer, and all of the kids and I made apple juice, and they all got to drink their apple juice. And every once in a while after that, a child would say, Miss Grass, can you bring in your juicer again? So finally at Christmas, I went and I bought a classroom juicer. What they do is we take turns and we draw names who's going to be able to bring in their fruits and vegetables for juice the next day. They get to do all of the juicing. They put it in. They turn the machine on. Some of the kids like to pour their own juice. They do everything. And then we talk about all the different fruits and vegetables that we bring in, and we write them on, and they say, hey, we're taking the letter C, and the letter C is in carrot. And so they're bringing the curriculum into the program, and they're bringing their knowledge base into it, and their interest, and their energy, and their excitement.
If you look at the kindergarten outcomes, for the Alberta Education kindergarten outcomes, they say that children learn through play and that you should have lots of opportunities for them to do different kinds of activities. So when you look at the outcomes, you look at the verbs, and so they say that children should talk and they should build and they should experiment. And so those are the things these children are doing. They're actually meeting the outcomes through their play, because play is children's work.
Tucker, what are you moving to?
It's really imperative that the educator understands young children and their stages of development so that she can scaffold their learning. So her role is to observe and question and be as active as the child in her own way, so that she's always asking, what is it I can bring to the environment for the child? How is it I can stretch their learning or scaffold it to the next thing? What are these children interested in? The child really leads the way, and that's where our curriculum should come from, is the child's interests. Even though we have our own thinking about and knowledge about the stages of development, by listening and watching children, they're the ones who are leading the way in their learning.
One thing that I know for sure is that when you have two young animals, children or rats or monkeys, interacting together, what they have to do is negotiate what they're going to do in that interaction. And most importantly, if they want to keep that interaction going as a playful thing, it's got to be reciprocal. You've got to be able to take turns, right? As much as possible and again, the teachers are the ones on the ground. They understand the context they have to work in. They understand their kids, right? But as much as possible, create opportunities where kids have got time to have the freedom to develop amongst themselves their own routines, their own games, their own set of rules for how to deal with one another, right? So there's many points where you can inject this opportunity to let the kids lead rather than leading by imposing structure from the outside. And I think that's probably the most important thing that you can do in school.
In Alberta, we're very fortunate that our primary programs framework has been developed for kindergarten to grade 3, and it looks at children's programs as holistic programs that look at total development of children. We know that's the best practice for children when we look at their social, physical, intellectual, cultural, creative, and emotional development as a whole. So we don't start with subjects, we start with children, learning through play and providing children with rich experiential backgrounds to enhance their learning.